My dearest Travelista, welcome to the podcast. I am your host, Tyra Andre. And in this specific episode, we're going to talk about our top 10 things to do while you're in the Maldives. And so these 10 things, they're not in any type of specific order. They are just some of the things that I think that you should do when you visit the Maldives. So, number one, when visiting the Maldives, you want to try to relax. Like, the atmosphere in the Maldives is so beautiful. It's so relaxing. Like you're literally in paradise. There's no other place like this in the world. So relax, relax. Drop the kids off if you're bringing your kids. Drop them off at childcare for a few hours. Go get a spa. Go take a relaxing bath. Like go do a massage, full body, like whatever it is that you know that you need to do to relax, do that for yourself because you know what? You deserve that. And you are all you got. If you give away everything, you won't have anything to give anybody else. I explain it as make sure your cup is filled up and then give everybody what's left over. Because if you're not good, then guess what? You're really no good to anyone else. So I say, number one thing to do while you're in the Maldives is to relax, okay? And so while you guys are there in the Maldives, guess what? Go ahead and go snorkeling. The Maldives have some of the best reefs in the world, okay? So, and even if you don't know how to swim, there's particular snorkeling classes that you can take while you don't know how to swim. So, you have a life vest, of course. They don't put you in a really, really deep water. Like there are steps to snorkeling and not knowing how to swim. And so, that snorkeling goes along with scuba diving. So scuba diving, you probably got to know how to swim. But if you know how, if you're not snorkeling, listen, try scuba diving if you know how to swim. So, as I said, the Maldives has some of the best reefs in the world. People travel from way afar to see these reefs that are there in the Maldives. Okay, so I say do that. So that's number two. And so number three, a third thing that I suggest doing while you're there in the Maldives is eating, you guys. Okay, so listen, eating while in the Maldives. In the Maldives, you either have breakfast only, half board, or full board. And I'll explain the three of them to you. And so breakfast is just breakfast only. Half board just means breakfast and lunch. And full board means breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay. And so when you look at the prices of the price difference between breakfast to full board to breakfast to full board and then half board to full board, they're similar. You guys go ahead and get full board. And if you like alcohol, hey, you may want to go all inclusive. And so all inclusive will, of course, include breakfast, lunch, dinner, and some drinks, alcoholic or non-alcoholic. They'll include things like that. And so that's something that each resort is different. But for the most part, all inclusive literally includes everything. And it probably also includes a few discounts on like excursions and stuff like that too. So I say check into your resort and see the price difference between breakfast. I say just avoid breakfast, the breakfast only plan, and avoid the half board plan. Just go for the full board or the all inclusive. Okay. And so the fourth thing that I recommend you do while you're in the Maldives is visit the main island of Mali. Listen, while you're there in Mali, have a local tour. Go see the Tsunami Museum. It's like the Tsunami Museum. It's dedicated to those that passed away in 2004 when there was a tsunami and earthquake tsunami in the Indian Ocean. So go visit there. Go visit the fish market and go visit all of the other national museums that that the Maldives has to offer. So I say do that. Okay. And so that's the fourth thing that I say that you should do while you're in the Maldives. And so the fifth thing would be to island hop. Okay. So figure out what resorts that you want to go to on each island, or even if you don't want to go to a resort on the island, just, figure out, ways to island hop. I know from some islands to the other islands, they have like a boat that will take you from, each island. And this is the boat that, the boat or the shuttle or the ferry, whatever you want to call it, that the locals will use. So just, do your research and figure out how to get from one island to the other. And you know what? A lot of times it's not really expensive to go take a day trip over to these mega, super uber expensive resorts and just have a day trip there. So I say look into that. And so that's number 5. Number 6, what I would recommend doing while you're there in the Maldives is jet skiing, you guys. The water is so super clear. It's so beautiful. Listen, you'll have your life vest on, jet ski, and sometimes the jet ski companies, they will let children in, not really small children, but each company has their age limit. So check into that if you're going with your family. And guess what? If you don't want to jet ski, do some other kind of water sport. Do a banana boat, do parasailing, just do something that has to do with water, because in the Maldives, you're surrounded by water, okay? So that is number 6, okay? And so number 7, what I recommend doing in the Maldives is a photo shoot. Oh my gosh. When we were there in the Maldives, we did a photo shoot and it was completely epic, okay? The hues of the water in the background, like it looks fake. It looks Photoshop, but listen, I'm here to tell you that it's real. Like some of the photos that you see from the Maldives, you're like, nah, that can't be real. Oh yes, trust me, they are real, okay? And so that's what I would recommend. So that's number 7 that I would recommend doing while you're there in the Maldives. Okay. And so number 8, the 8th thing that I will recommend you do while you're in the Maldives is floating breakfast. Okay. No trip to the Maldives is complete without a floating breakfast. And if I were you, I would check on the price in advance. Some of the floating breakfasts are a little bit expensive, but if you ask me, it's all about the experience. Okay. To me, it's completely about the experience. So I say do a floating breakfast. It'll be unforgettable, I promise you. And it'll make for beautiful, beautiful pictures, okay? So number 9, the 9th thing that I would recommend you do while you're there in the Maldives is take a dolphin tour, okay? There are so many dolphins to see there in the Maldives. I say take a dolphin tour, okay? And if you don't want to take a dolphin tour, listen, take a sunset cruise tour. Do some kind of boat tour. It's completely amazing. I promise you, okay? And so the 10th thing that I would recommend you do while you're there in the Maldives is to get to know the locals. The locals are so very sweet. They're so accommodating, and just ask them different questions about their culture. How do you say this? What's the favorite food? And while we're at it, I'm going to throw in a bonus. Take a cooking class while you're in the Maldives. I promise you, it'll be like no other dish that you have ever tried. Okay, so those are my top 10s for the Maldives, and I'll run over them really, really fast again. So number 1, relax. Do a spa, do massage, do whatever it is that you know how to do to relax. Okay, so the second one, go snorkeling, go scuba diving, do something of that nature. Number 3, eat. Taste all of the food. You'll have a bunch of seafood, a bunch of other food there to taste. So eat all the food that you can eat, because their food is different and their food is delicious, okay? Number 4, visit the main island. There's so many different things to do on the main island of the Maldives, okay? So there's so many different things. There's other excursions to do there on the main island too, okay? Number 5, resort hop. Resort hop or island hop all across the Maldives. Google how to do it. The locals do it all the time, okay? Number 6, get on a jet ski. Do some type of water sport. It'll be unforgettable. Make sure you're taking those pictures too while you're doing these water sports. And when you get back home, you're going to look at it. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I executed that. So do that, okay? And so number 7, I say go ahead and take a photo shoot. Spend the extra money and get a professional photo shoot done. I promise you, you will not regret it. I promise you, okay? And so number 8, go ahead and get you a floating breakfast. Take those pictures, Get your floating breakfast and you'll remember it. I promise you. And the food's delicious. The food is really, really good. And so number 9, take a dolphin or sunset cruise. Get on some type of boat where you're actually moving around, your resort. Listen, you're not going to regret that either. I promise you. And most of these things we did already. And trust me, we may have had to spend a little bit of money, but guess what? The Maldives is not the cheapest place in the world. It's not the cheapest place, but I could say it's one of the most beautifulest places that I've ever visited in the world. Okay. And I visited quite a few places. Okay. And so number 10 will be get to know the locals. The locals are so sweet, so nice. And that's one of my favorite things to do when I go to any destination is get to know the locals. Like that's what we're there for, try to get hands on, see if there's, somewhere that you can, do charity work or see if you can volunteer somewhere. I mean, I know you're on vacation, but, I don't know, everybody's different. So those are my top 10 things to do while you're there in the Maldives. If you guys have any additional questions or you want to ask me anything about the Maldives, guess what? You guys can always text me at 813 Go One Fly 2. Okay. And if you can't text me, then you can always email me at info@mommyandwe, that's WEE travels.com. And that's going to pretty much wrap up this specific podcast episode of our top 10 things to do while you're in the Maldives. And until our very next podcast, bye, Travelista, bye.